Hello, my name is Hunter Rogers, and I'm one of the elder candidates for this upcoming members meeting in May. And so we're doing this interview, some questions, so y'all can get a chance to learn about me and learn about why I want to do this. My wife and I came to the Oaks about 2 years ago. My sister and brother-in-law's pastor up in Cedarville actually recommended the Oaks. Didn't really know anything about it, but he saw it on Southern Baptist webpage, so we visited it, and as you can tell, it's stuck. So here we are. And it's been about 2 years, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful season. So no one in my family is a Christian. I was raised outside of the church. We went occasionally, but it was not a thing. And I had kind of this abstract view that there must be a God, but it didn't affect anything. And I was probably the most self-righteous person you could have ever met. I specifically remember looking at others and saying, I'm really glad that I'm not them, and I wonder what it's like to not be them. So in the case of the elder brother with a really self-righteous Pharisee, that was me, just not in the church. And so it was when I was early on in college, I had fooled actually several younger Christians into thinking I was one. And so they invited me to help start a Bible study. I said yes for reasons only the Lord knows, and helped with AV, during which I got to hear pastors preach through the Bible. It was the first time I'd ever heard the truth about sin, the truth about Christ, who I was and who God was, really. And through that was convicted of sin and of righteousness and of judgment. The Lord has been so kind since. There have been so many seasons where it's been only me, and yet He's been faithful through all of them and has kept me. And so through the rest of college, and then as I moved off and spent a few years on my own, and through that time, the Lord has always brought faithful Christians around and has always put me in a faithful community that has helped me grow and helped me see ever more the greatness of Christ in all things. Why do I want to be an elder? It's a really good question. My greatest love, aside from Christ and my wife, is the church. And my greatest desire is to see God glorified in how the bride of Christ adorns herself with righteousness and justness and walks and pursues Christ. And since moving here, the Lord has absolutely, I have grown to love people in a way that I have never before. The people in the corners, the people by themselves, and I want everyone to walk with Christ humbly and in pursuit of Him for the glory of God. And what do I think the work of an elder consists of? Well, I think the metaphor of the shepherd, which is what the Bible shows, is the most helpful metaphor. One who cares for the flock and one who guards the flock. So that's in a kind of an abstract sense. Some more practical sense that looks like, first of all, submitting oneself to the authority of Scripture, to its inerrancy, and to the continual, the deeper and more strongly pursued study of it. I think as an elder, one should not read less, but read more, and study more and pray more. After that, I think it looks like exhorting and admonishing those in the congregation, encouraging them, protecting from really bad doctrine, because that will throw everything off, and really encouraging good doctrine. And then praying for members specifically, continually, and with an eagerness unlike anything else. And so when I think of people who have been really great mentors or who have been really strong leaders personally to me, there's a few names that come to mind. One is a brother named Gene Williams. He was a young staff worker at the college ministry that I was a member of. And he was one of the most humble guys I know, and he really showed me the centrality and the fundamental centrality of the church and the Christian's life. I wasn't a member at a church until I met him, and he showed me that. And also I got to see what it looked like to walk humbly with other people and pray humbly. So I look at him and one of the most faithful men I know. I also think of a man named Andy Proud when I was kind of on my own in Baltimore. He was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force who taught at the Naval Academy, yet he got all of his delight from teaching small children in Sunday school the things of God and the Bible. And so I really got to see, and he showed me what it means that the things revealed belong to man and the things hidden belong to God. The Bible was absolutely inerrant to him, and it was everything. So this really great, strict, leader of men loved children and loved teaching these things in a childlike way. That was beautiful. When I think of authors that have made a big impact or wrote books, truthfully, before I was a member of this congregation, I did not read much outside of just the Bible. I saw that as the best thing to read, and I didn't necessarily look for non-biblical books. Since coming here, that has all changed, and I really like books now. Some of the most impactful have absolutely been The Deep Things of God by Fred Sanders. I would encourage that, although it's a hard read. And seeing the Trinity as not just an abstract on its own truth, but as something that is central to the gospel and life and everything. That really helped a really difficult doctrine for me to understand. I also think actually very recently, The Blessed and Boundless God by George Swinnock, a Puritan, that has really expanded my view of God's boundlessness. And it's a wonderful book I would highly recommend. So outside of that, I think like most people, some of the more modern authors such as Piper and MacArthur, the Washer and Sproul, and then older ones such as Flavel and Bunyan, some of those guys. So I really enjoy all transcribed sermons from them. Favorite pastimes and hobbies? Well, I very much enjoy reading now. I've always enjoyed reading since coming to salvation. Now I really enjoy reading. The thing I love doing the most is spending time reading and studying and praying through the scriptures. And after that, I love spending time with my wife, tending to our vegetable garden. That gets me really excited. And taking walks through the neighborhood and just being outside. Those are some of my favorite things to do. My favorite Bible verse, this has changed many times, but I would say now it is Romans 3, verses 21 through 26. And we can maybe go to verse 27 from there. It's a long one, so I won't say it, but y'all can read it. I've referred to it as the Everest of the peaks of Scripture because I think the whole of the gospel is so well encapsulated in those verses. The true depth of our sinful depravity, and yet the amazing grace of God, and showing that He is the hero of everything, and that I could do nothing, it is all God, and it's by grace. So I would highly encourage you to meditate on those verses daily or weekly. So as of these past few weeks, my wife and I have been going through Genesis. We're in the back half of Genesis, and I think the thing that has, I've read through Genesis many times, but the thing that has really been impressed on my mind to consider this time reading has actually been the subject of generational sin. Seeing the effects of Abraham and Nahor down through their children and to Isaac and Jacob and his 12 sons. It has really led me to contemplate in what ways, when as my wife and I look towards children of our own, what ways, what patterns of sin or righteousness will I be passing on to them? Because the effects of it are devastating or amazing. So that's what the Lord's been revealing to me in the last couple of weeks of devotions.